Really?
That's marvellous.
Goodness, that's fantastic.
He was my father's, who was born in 1907, and he's been looking after our Christmas trees as a family for 90 years. So every single year he
And was he used this Christmas?
this last Christmas, yes. Yes,
Lovely.
yes.
Well, he's got his little Christmas tree here, and he's dressed in what would have been a bright red coat, and maybe in the folds
Yes,
you can see it's a little
yes,
bit
yes.
brighter than what it's faded to now. What fascinates me, though, is his head, because what we have here is a bisque head, which one associates with the pretty, smiling, attractive dolls of the period. But this is anything but. He looks like a real St. Nicholas, and you can imagine he'd just as easily have a switch in his hand as a Christmas tree.
yes.
He's got a very pointed nose. He's got lines here on the bridge of his nose. He's wrinkled. He's obviously an old man. And that makes it really quite an interesting doll. He's a rarity in doll terms. And this particular face crops up sometimes in America where he is dressed as Uncle Sam. And then other times he appears as Santa Claus. What I can say is that I'm certain that he is German in origin, and Santa Claus as a figure is actually very widely collected, not only in this country, but more particularly in the States. And a little figure like this could easily realise between 800 and 1,200 pounds in the right sort of venue. I think next Christmas we'll keep him in a parcel rather than putting him on the tree.
The movement of these, I think, is absolutely brilliant.
Marvellous.
Yes. Oh, he agrees.
He's very
So
tall.
tell me, it was your father's, you said?
Yes, it
And-
was given to him, we think about 1933, when he was about 6 years old.
Have you got a photograph?
Yes, I got a photograph
Your father.
of my father with the bear and his mother when he was 10 years
Oh,
old.
look at that. Isn't that sweet? That's lovely, because collectors really like a provenance and a photograph to go with it. It's perfect.
There you go.
It's steif, it's German, he's very collectible. He's still got his button, which is wonderful, because so often it's taken out. Because a mother thinks lead. I can't have my child eating that. He's probably around 1930, and auction value, we're talking about around £300 to £400.
That's marvellous.
Oh!
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
So tell me all about this. Let's just move those up a little bit.
I'll move them up.
Okay, let's get comfortable over here. Okay.
Again, I'd say
Let's just pop it there.
car boot sale again Sunday morning, just picked it up.
Were you with your dad at the time?
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah. Did you want your dad to buy this?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you fancy playing with it yourself? Or?
No, I wouldn't play with it because it looked old when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Because it was in an old condition, and that's just used for a model. It'd be used for a model, like.
I think you may well be right there in some respects. It says on here, Uncle Wiggley's crazy car. And what's it says? Copyright. We've got there Howard Garris. Now he's the man who invented Uncle Wiggley. He was invented in the early part of the 20th century for the Newark News in America, just outside New York. Mention Uncle Wiggly to any American over the age of 60 and they'll know exactly who you're talking about. But over here, he's a bit of a rarity. Bit of a rarity. Now, I noticed on the back, just above that tyre there,
Germany, yeah.
Germany.
Yes.
So I am pretty well convinced that your car was made by a firm called Dissler. And they were known for making these tinplate
What
toys.
date would have been made?
This, I would suggest, is around about 1925.
25, yeah. That's nice, yeah.
So it's quite an ancient vehicle. The point is, it's all down to condition when it comes to the value of something like this. However, having said all that, it obviously begs the question as to exactly how much did you end up paying for Uncle Wiggly's crazy car?
Well, I paid €40, so about, I don't know, a little less than £30 sterling. That's what I paid for it. But I thought I just had a feeling about it, and that's all, so I just couldn't leave it there, you know.
You couldn't? You had to take it home with you?
I had to take it home, yeah.
Oh, it was a good instinct. I think there's every chance that if this came up for auction, that the bidding would be somewhere between 800 and possibly £1,000.
Sterling, yeah.
Sterling.
That's very good.
And that's the good news.
Yes.
The bad news, which is not really relevant, is that if it had been in perfect condition, one of these was sold in London not so very long ago for £4,000.
Wow.
So it's worth getting up in the mornings, isn't it? If you can find treasure like this.
I feel as if I've stepped into a scene from The Wind in the Willows. We've got all the characters there, and we've got the caravan and the horse. It's absolutely charming. Where did it come from?
Kenneth Graham was a patient to my grandfather. He was a doctor in Goring-on-Thames.
Which works very well, of course, because Kenneth Graham, the author of Wind in the Willows, lived in Cookham, which is just down the road from Goring. And when was this, roughly?
Around about 1930s.
And I'm looking at a photograph. Now, I'm presuming that this gentleman here...
Yes, that gentleman there's my grandfather, and my mother's sitting on his knee.
They're flat-cut wooden characters, beautifully painted and articulated with steel pins so that they can move. And they are of a type which makes me think of a particular maker, which is a company called Talford Toys. Talford Toys sounds like this massive enterprise. It was two sisters.
Goodness.
Two sisters who lived in Talford Cottage in Reigate set up Talford Toys.
When Kenneth Graham had this one made for my grandfather, he had one made for himself as well.
Please tell me why Pooh Bear has muscled in to Wind in the Willows.
Well, apparently Kenneth Graham really liked Winnie the Pooh, so he just added Winnie the Pooh.
And hoped that your grandfather would love him as much.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take my life in my hands and pick him up and hope I can put him down again. Winnie the Pooh, here, we can see he's articulated, he can move his head, he can move his little arms, his legs, and I've checked on all the feet, which is where the name would be written, and there is no name. So no proof of Talford Toys, but I do know that Talford Toys made a Pooh Bear set. Of course, the characters in Pooh Bear were illustrations by Ernest Shepard, just as he was the illustrator of Wind in the Willows. So there is a link there. There is quite a following as far as the collectability of these toys are concerned. And the little figures can fetch 100, perhaps £200 a piece. So my feeling is that including Pooh, who is really enjoying his time by the riverbank.
Yes.
I would put the estimate at perhaps £1,000 to £1,500.
Really?
So thank you for bringing to life that wonderful time in the 20s and 30s on the Thames in Berkshire.
How exciting. Thank you, Hilary. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I honestly thought that it was going to be worth about sort of 50 quid because I thought it was made by a local craftsman and it had been played with by my mother's family and me when I was little. So, yes, quite exciting.
I have a small toy collection and I didn't have a teddy bear and I was living in British Columbia at the time and a friend wanted to sell her teddy bear and so I thought it was wonderful and I bought it, not thinking too much about it, except he was pretty and looked well worn and loved. So.
He does. He looks as if he's had a life, doesn't he? When we turn him round, we can see the original colour. He would have been this wonderful sort of vibrant pink.
Yes.
But the thing about the bear is not just that he's got this wonderful expression to him, but he's also got a very nice musical movement.
Yes.
So you squeeze his tummy and out comes this rather lovely melody. So he's got this sort of double attraction. He's quite a valuable little chap. How long ago did you buy him?
I bought him in about 78 or 79, I think.
And can you remember what you
$50.
$50.
Yep.
Yopi musical bears can fetch as much as £1,000, which is what? About $2,200, $2,500.
Oh, that's pleasant.
So I'm sure that when you were a child, you'd have taken a lot longer than we've just done trying to put this together. I think we've made a very good job, don't you?
I think we made a marvellous job.
And we still haven't finished. We've still got some left over. It is
yes.
such a lovely set, and I've enjoyed playing with it. But
Good.
it must be some time since you played with it.
Well, it's about 20 years since I last got it out and set it up for a visiting child, you know, who was enchanted with it, of course.
Which did you start off with?
Well, I think it was the Christmas that I was 5, that Father Christmas, after much pressure from me, brought me a little starter set. It's quite a small one. I think there were a few flower beds and flowers, a bit of grass and some crazy paving. I was absolutely thrilled with it. There was nothing else I wanted in the world except this garden set.
And that started you off?
Started me off. It would have been about 1932, I think, when I had the first starter set.
Yes. Well, they are by a well-known firm called Britton's, which are still going today. Britton's actually started in the 1880s in northern England, and these probably were made from 1925 onwards, so give or take a few years.
Yes, I see.
And it's lovely that you've got 2 of the original boxes. I love the little cold frame here.
Yes.
And, of course, this came in a box.
Yes.
Now, that box, you'd be surprised to hear now, would be worth, with its contents, somewhere in the region of £200.
Good Lord. What?
And so would that. So you then add all your plants that cost 2 pence a packet.
Yes.
And I think you've got something in the region of 20 packets.
Yes.
Which probably would make in the region of 500 to 600, something like that.
Yes, I see. Yes. Yes. Well, that's a lot more than I thought it would be worth.
My parents won her. She was the first prize in a car rally in the mid-60s. And they won the rally and she became ours.
Well, that's a very nice surprise because she's actually 90 centimetres, which is nearly 35 inches, and that is almost life size.
Yeah.
She's got very, very good bisque. This is what we call an oily bisque.
Yes. I wanted to clean her and perhaps restore her hair and her clothes because they are falling apart.
Well, actually, you say that, but to me she looks in really good condition. She's got no fingers missing.
No.
She's got no cracks to the head. All right, she's got a little bit of dirt on her bisque.
Yes.
And I just happened to have flown with a towelette thing that they give you on a plane, and what I can show you here is, look how that comes up.
Right.
So who do the Dinky toys belong to then? You?
No, my father.
It's your father?
Yes.
Because they all date from the 50s, really, the early 50s.
Yes, when he'd be a young boy then.
Right. They're basically not in too bad condition. You've got some original boxes, but they've got a bit foxed and mouldy.
Yeah.
And you take these sort of commercial vehicles like that Climax forklift truck, that's probably like that, worth 40 to 60 pounds. Or the elevator loader with its rubber original tracking in it. That one's worth, in its box, 70 to 90 pounds, something like that. But did you think that this one was at all special? This is a Guy van, made 1952. It's got the smooth tyres and a pair of opening doors on the back. So I think this one would be likely to bring at auction between £1,500 and £2,000.
Heavens. My dad doesn't know I brought them, so he'll be quite surprised.
Oh, Lord.
She's by the firm of Kammer and Reinhardt, or Kammer, with an umlaut on the A.
Yes.
Together with Simon and Halby. She's got a number on the base of the neck, which is 90.
I didn't know
And then the mark is up a bit high, the glue's over the K and R, but there's that Simon and Halby.
Yes.
So she tells you who she is. This is, you mentioned that you wanted to do something with the hair, but it's absolutely lovely, lovely hair. It's mohair. And it's the original, so you don't really want to do anything with it.
No.
So have you any idea of value?
I haven't a clue, no, because
well, she's in her original dress, and because she's so large and a very collectible make, she'd be worth in the region of £1,000.
Goodness, that's fantastic.
What I want to know is, how did you resist playing with these wonderful toys and corgis and dinkies?
It was played with every day, actually.
Were they?
There was, yes.
You can't tell me that you played every day as a nipper.
As a small boy.
With your Land Rover and trailer.
I did.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Well, this is a great one because it's in fantastic condition. The best of these with red Land Rovers and red and black liveried trailers are worth £200 to £300. This one's worth probably 70 to 90 in beige. I love the colour schemes on some of these Corgis. I mean, this is the Austin Mini Countryman in sea green here with its surfer standing in front. That's a great one, isn't it? That's another 60 to 90 pound fellow. This one is in just dazzling condition. The, I think, who is it? It's Hall and Co.'s coal lorry with the fake sacks of coal and a set of trucks on the back. That's in really wonderful order. You couldn't have played with that.
I did, yes. Played with everything.
You were a very gentle boy.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, because with that dazzling blue interior, it's worth 110 to 120 pounds in jolly good state.
Yeah.
I'll just plonk it back inside like that. And I think probably the oldest Dinky and the best, or rather most valuable piece here, is the Foden tanker with its Regent livery. Again, slightly scratched. This is 1957 to 1959, quite a short production run. Always nice, these Foden wagons. It's worth probably about £300. There's between 300 and 400. Have you got any more at home?
I haven't, no.
No. Well, you must have got 50 here, and they're largely Corgis, but largely in very good condition with their boxes. If they had an average value, say, of £50 each, you've got £2,500 worth of Corgis. Plus, we've got the extra, rather more special Dinkies that I've talked to you about. So it's a very nice group.
Oh, good.
You should. You're a lesson to all the nippers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look after your toys.
Look after your toys.
It's absolute delight to find the original list, which lists every single animal in 4 languages.
Yes.
Do tell me, how did you come to have it?
Well, it's been a Sunday toy. My father used to play with it at his grandmother's home. Presumably that's how it's managed to survive all this time. He wasn't allowed to play with it except on Sundays.
It was the original Sunday toy of the early 19th century. Yes. What is wonderful is you've got the full family of Noah. You've got Ham, Shem and Japheth, and Noah and his wife, and it's absolutely splendid. I've never seen them all together.
Really?
They're the ones that seem to walk.
Oh, do they?
It's early 19th century, about 1840.
Yes.
German, and made near the Black Forest down in South Germany. Do your children play with it? Or
Certainly not. No, it's got to survive much longer, and it won't if they play with it.
It's kept so well. I could play with this for hours. I love some of these animals. Absolutely enchanting. I can't see very much restoration, and obviously the Sunday toy has been very well looked after. And slight sort of, I suppose, mainly more play on the ark than on the animals almost, because quite a lot of this is slightly worn. I simply can't believe that 300 animals could get in there, and no wonder their legs broke.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, just imagine even a governess stuffing them all in there, unwrapped. I mean, they wouldn't fit in if they were wrapped, would they? You probably don't know what it's worth. Do you have any idea?
Well, I suppose it might be worth about £2,000, but I'm not really sure.
Add a nought.
What? Oh, dear me.
One very recently, in not quite such good condition, with the same number of animals, made over 20,000.
Oh, gracious.